Africa forest still exists up to date. So each and every Mijikenda tribe has its own kaya forest. So the Rabai sacred kaya forest tunaita kaya Muzimubia. Kaya Muzi. Now, as I've told you earlier, that the first church was built by Dr. Krapf in the year 1846. The first church played a very significant role in establishment of other mission stations and churches, and also became the headquarters of Anglican Church, both in East and Central Africa. So Dr. Krapf was born in the year 1810 at a place called the Rindigen in Wartenberg, Germany. During his young age, Dr. Krapf developed a gift of languages, so he studied a lot of languages. Alikuwa mzoefu sana wa kusoma lugha. He was born in a Lutheran family of farmers. So Dr. Krapf was a Lutheran. Unaelewana? He joined Basil Mission in the year 1827. And in the year 1835, he was employed by Church Missionary Society. He was sent on his first mission work at a place called Basil. He worked for 2 years. Later, he was posted to Abyssinia, in Ethiopia. While Dr. Krapf was at Abyssinia, he was given a condition that he was supposed to learn Arabic language. During that time, East Coastal Islands were under Arabs. Their supreme leader called Sultan Seyssaid, who based at Zanzibar. So Dr. Krapf had to move from Ethiopia to Egypt for masomo yake ya Kiarabu. And while Dr. Krapf was at Egypt, he met Rosine Dietrich, a widow of another Basil missionary. He married her in the year 1842, so his first wife was in Dietrich. Dr. Krapf married 3 times. He married 3 times. So Rosine Dietrich gave birth to a daughter, but the daughter died. Dr. Krapf started his journey to East Africa, following Suez Canal to Somali, Lamu, then finally he reached at Mombasa. He was sent to Zanzibar for official clearance from the Sultan. He was given a working permit by the Sultan, but with a condition that he was only supposed to carry his missionary activities into the mainland, not on the island. Simply because the Arabs had already settled in some of the islands, meaning Islamic religion was deeply spread in those areas. So from Zanzibar, he returned back to Mombasa. He stayed at a place called Leven House in the old town. Rosine Dietrich was expectant again. She gave birth to her daughter, but the mother died. The mother died. So challenge number 1, tropical diseases. Rosine Dietrich was attacked by malaria, and she died at Mombasa. Challenge number 2, language barrier. Challenge number 3, periodic attacks. A few days later, the daughter also followed her to the grave. They were buried on the mainland north of Mombasa, on their way to English Point Marina. The memorial park still exists up to date. In the same year, 1844, he proceeded to Rabai, following Chuda Channel. And then imefika Makupa. There's a recent bridge which was constructed earlier. So he used that channel, and he landed at Kaya Muzimubia, here at Rabai. While staying at the Kaya forest, Dr. Krapf learned the language barriers of the locals and even translated some versions of the Bible in Kiswahili land. He was later joined by Johannes Rebman, born in the year 1820, sent by Church Missionary Society to come to assist Dr. Krapf with his missionary activities. They requested for land in order to construct a church. Conflict started raising up between the locals, or the Council of Elders, simply because they had negative attitudes towards the missionaries, simply because they believed that they were part of slave trade. They believed that Dr. Krapf and Rebman were slave raiders, and also they believed that Dr. Krapf was a witchcraft. A witchcraft. In fact, some of them wanted to kill them. But the Supreme Court elder called Jino Mawesa took Dr. Krapf and Rebman akaenda kuwaficha. He went back to reconcile with his fellow council of elders, and they came up with an agreement that Dr. Krapf had to buy this plot of land. 99.9 hectares of land, hiyo ni kubwa sana. And they wouldn't let Dr. Krapf construct a church inside Akaya forest simply because the Rabai people had their own traditional belief system. So akampatia huku kando. And in the year 1846, he built the first church here at Rabai. But, however, there was that difficultiness of conversion. Umejenga kanisa. You can imagine building a church in the year 1846. Alafu, upate a first convert in the year 1851. 5 years later. Now, the first convert at Rabai Mission Station was called Mrenje. Mrenje was a cripple, but due to poor health, he didn't survive. So the first convert died. They received a second convert, father and a son, Jana Begonja and the son Nyondo, who were baptized by Rebman in the 1860 as Abraham Jana Begonja and Isaac Nyondo. So they worked hard on translations. Now, missionaries didn't stay at one point. Their main work was to spread Christianity. Unaelewa? Na mtu haezi kueneza Ukristo akiwa amebase mahali pamoja. So they had to move in. Now, Dr. Krapf together with Rebman were not only missionaries but also explorers. They made some discoveries of Mount Kilimanjaro and also Mount Kenya. And by doing so, they sent their reports back